Let's talk about moving around from an employee
Mm,
perspective.
yeah,
So, I'm a US employee here. Got granted options like normal. And then, I decide to, follow my spouse, go move to another country or anything along those lines. And so where am I subject to taxation wise? And are there places that I might move that I wind up getting subject to double?
yeah, that's possible, right? So the way you can think of it as taxation rules in country A, taxation rules in country B. Moving from A to B may be different than moving B to A. So there's a concept of tax sourcing. So I can use Singapore, where I'm at the moment, as an example. So from the Singapore perspective, what the tax authority would care about is the income you receive during the course of your employment in Singapore. So if you receive a grant of equity while you work for the Singapore entity, then you move to the US, on the way out, Singapore will be like, okay, let's just break off our relationship. There'll be effectively a tax trigger on your exit from the country. For a lot of countries, it's usually done on a prorated basis, right? For Singapore, it's a bit of an all or nothing approach. Either we're going to tax you on everything, or we're going to tax you on nothing if that equity is received outside of your time in Singapore. So for US employees moving overseas, you may have like this a trailing obligation from the tax perspective. And even if you don't move overseas, moving from one state to the other also can actually trigger different requirements. As we all know, there's different state tax that applies. So yes, it can be a very messy situation. And there could be some jurisdictions when you effectively get taxed on the way out and also get taxed on the way in. So that one you need to also look in if there's any treaties before those jurisdictions to see if there's double taxation can be avoided.
Thing that my first signal that might be my software platform, like my equity platform, like Qapita, would pop that out or give me a warning or just let me know that this
Yeah,
might be more complicated than I think.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more complicated than you think. I think the one key takeaway I can suggest is, especially for the companies looking to bring in talent from overseas, is Section 409 is the one thing you always need to remember. So in US, you always have to give options at the strike price. In a lot of other jurisdictions, there's no such rule. So sometimes you give a discounted option. But as soon as you move to the US, those requirements trigger, and some of the awards that you might have been granting to the employees outside of the US all of a sudden become non-compliant from the US perspective. So yes, like the key recommendation that we have for our clients is do a bit of planning, understand where your employees are at the moment and potential movements. So whenever we kind of do this entire review setup, we always ask those questions. Okay, where are your employees now? Who you think you've given equity? Do you expect people to move around? Because sometimes it's not even a relocation, it's even going on an assignment for a period of time. So those can trigger those specific requirements. So there's
Gotcha.
an entire industry focusing on mobility, and yeah, it can get very complex.